Welcome to Phil Wilson Chats with Celebrities. And here's your host, Phil Wilson.
In their 30th anniversary year, Shed 7 have almost exhausted their bucket list with their first ever #1 album and 2 huge celebratory homecoming shows in their hometown of York, which is now completed. Shed 7 continue a remarkable 2024 by releasing the new single Waiting for the Catch, which features Izzy Ferris of Ferris and Sylvester, the UK folk rock Americana duo who released their second album, Otherness, earlier this year. And Rick joins me now. How are you doing, Rick?
Hello, Phil. How are you?
I'm fabulous. It's just wonderful to speak to you because last time I spoke to you, you just, last time I'd actually just had a haircut and Rick, you were celebrating with Shed 7, your record-breaking #1 album, A Matter of Time. Can you please tell us what has been happening to you in 2024, which has brought the band so far in with a phenomenal, which I can't believe, it's amazing.
I know, so it has been a great year so far. Obviously, we've been building up to the 30th anniversary year, so we were kind of hoping that we could cram a lot in just to celebrate the fact. And boy, have we done that. It's been a very, very busy year. In fact, I think this is our most successful and busy year since 1996, which is pretty crazy. I think we're actually a bigger band now than we've ever been, and we're celebrating that on our 30th year. Usually it would be the other way around. You'd be clinging to the wreckage. So it's great, you know, we're having a great time of it. We're loving the attention we're getting. We're getting an awful lot of love because we didn't really get a lot of love in the 90s. There was a lot of nastiness as well. But now this time around...
Lots of it. I think the media had a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah, they did, yeah. But, you know, it was par for the course at that time. But I just think maybe with a bit of age and experience... I think people now are looking at us as a band that have survived a lot and are still going and still producing the goods. So to have a #1 album the first week into our 30th anniversary year was an amazing thing for us. But then if you listen to it, I think it deserved to go there because I'm hoping that album will stand the test of time and people will still be listening to it in years to come.
There definitely will be. And of course, a lot of the, parents that were actually listening to your music back in the 90s there, like a lot of parents that are parents now, they're introducing their kids to a lot of the music that they used to like. And it's just wonderful how all of the 90s acts are all like, you know, they're all out there and they're all as popular as ever, like you say, or if not more popular, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. And we've noticed that over the years. You know, we've noticed that perhaps maybe 10, 15 years ago, people of our age that were coming way back then were suddenly getting babysitters and coming and
right.
letting rip and just enjoying songs from their past and enjoying the memories of what that evokes and singing along passionately, which is great. But then fast forward a couple of years after that, and now these people are actually bringing their children with them, which is just amazing.
Yeah.
You know, we notice more and more at our gigs, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13-year-olds at the front stood with the parents, but they're there singing every word along with the parents. And it's a great thing to see because, you know, there'd be an occasion where kids wouldn't want to listen to the same music that the parents listen to.
They would think it was a bit sad, or it would be like, you don't listen to that, you know.
Or they'd want to rebel simply because it's their parents' thing. So I'm going to rebel against that. But these days, you know, even my kids, you know, they're into the same kind of things that I'm into. And it's just great because you can open up and have great conversations about things, and hearing music in your children's bedrooms that is stuff that you would listen to. You know, it's amazing. Yeah. It's great.
Yes, my middle daughter, Emily, she always says to me, she'll like be playing some music, and then I'll go, oh, by the way, I'm speaking to Rick Witter of Shed 7. You're not, are you? Because she'll be listening. She's a cool cat, so she's listening to the tunes as well. So it's excellent. And all the 90s stuff, it's just fabulous. They need to bring more of that out on the vinyl again, the 90s stuff, because I've been collecting all that, and it's just wonderful to hear all that music on the radio again.
Yeah, totally. So I've got my youngest is 15, and she's quite a big Beatles fan. But she's also, I think her favourite song is "Put Your Head on My Shoulder" by Paul Anka from about 1958.
Wow,
it's great. It's great to hear all of these classic songs in a teenage kid's bedroom. It's amazing.
It is. It's really positive as well. Now, recently you performed at a homecoming gig at the York Museum Gardens. What was it like, as the staging looked absolutely amazing, especially with the ballad "Let's Go Dancing"?
Yes, so we released that last week, didn't we, on YouTube? Yes. Well, it was just great. We don't play our home city of York as much as perhaps we should do. Certainly that's the case over the years. And it got to the point where we're getting towards a big anniversary year, and we thought we need to do something special in our hometown. And, there's various places we could have played, but that's where everyone else plays. So we wanted to find somewhere which is really unusual to do it. And the Museum Gardens came up as an option. And the last band to play in the Museum Gardens in York was Roxy Music in the 70s, I think.
Wow,
that's how unusual it is. So
yes,
that made the 2 nights totally special. It was great for York because the money that was generated over that weekend helped the taxis, it helped the restaurants, it helped the pubs, the hotels, the bars. It was a win-win on all sides because the people that were there were loving the weekend. We were loving performing. So it was one of those weekends where everything just worked perfectly. And we've played our hometown because the thing is, it's stressful playing your hometown because you've got to make sure it's good. So we pulled out all the stops to make sure that was the case, but then you still don't know if you're going to play well enough. I've got to walk these streets. I don't want people flicking V's at me in cars when I'm walking down these streets.
That's right, wind the window down.
But we did okay. We did 2 really great gigs. So that was a highlight of the year. And as I say, we've had the number 1. We've got a huge tour at the end of the year to celebrate the 30 years. So we'll be doing lots of hits at that. And then we've got this Liquid Gold album that's out this weekend. So this is kind of album number 2 within 9 months, which again is we've been putting the work in, put it that way.
Yes. But going back to the concert there at the York Museum Gardens, did Shed 7 have a say in what kind of staging you would like, or do you leave it to the experts?
Well, obviously the promoters will deal with all of that, but we will be in touch with what's happening. We went there and had a meeting with them and worked out where the stage was going to go and where the dressing rooms might be and where the guest area might be and where the food stalls were going to go. We were involved in that respect, but it's not really our job to put that into action. But it did look really, really good. Yeah, it was great.
Because the atmosphere, I mean, even just watching that clip of that song there, I was like, that's like, you know what it is? When you looked at it, you could have been actually have 10,000 people, you know what I mean, behind, because the staging was that good. You know what I mean? It was like, stadium quality. I really loved it. And it really fit in with that song, that light, and beautiful.
Well, we've recorded the whole thing, so at some point you might get to see the whole gig.
Ah, right. I see. That'll be excellent. Yes. Fabulous. Yes, might be a little bit of a sneaky bit with the CD, I think, maybe. You just never know. Look, maybe I've heard a little dicky bird in my ear. Now, after the success, if I could say it, after the success of the album, A Matter of Time, what was the inspiration behind Liquid Gold album?
So last year we were kind of obviously thinking the 30th anniversary is looming, and then we were kind of a little bit cautious of labels releasing a new greatest hits, because we've already had 2 or 3 greatest hits. And we didn't want to feel like we're ripping our fans off with the same original compositions being released with new artwork to try and sell it again. We thought that's pushing the boundaries of being a fan.
Yeah.
So we thought, how can we counteract that? So we thought, why don't we revisit some of our old hits, kind of not change them too much, just have a look at the arrangements and, change very slight bits, leave a couple of gaps here to make the song breathe.
Yeah.
Maybe chop that verse down that was always slightly too long originally. Make it basically like as if we'd never written those songs and we're writing them now for the first time, but they're still the same songs. And then put a big orchestra all over it, because orchestras give you the feels. They're just, it's hairs on the back of your neck. I think on every single song on this Liquid Gold album, the hairs will stand up on the back of your neck at least once throughout each song.
I mean, the album, I've had a preview of it, and the album sounds fabulous. And your new single, Waiting for the Catch, features vocals, like I say, of Izzy Ferris and Sylvester. Now, the album, when I've listened to it, the standout songs for me are Disco Down, which is definitely a floor filler. Will you be strutting your stuff with that one, Rick?
I strut my stuff wherever I go. I could be going to the co-op and I'm strutting. So definitely yes is the answer to that.
Yeah, I love that one. And another one that I particularly love from the album is Liquid Gold. Now, is there a story about it?
Liquid Gold is the album title. Which track do you mean?
What track was it? Well, I love...
The Disco Down.
Yeah, I love that one. And also I love Getting Better. Now, is that because Shed 7 is getting better?
Well, so that was the first single off our second album way back in 1996. And we chose to put that one on because we've got the big orchestra on there. We didn't want it all to be luscious sounding strings. We wanted certain tracks to have a bit of an edge to it. So weirdly enough, Getting Better, the strings in that almost sound a little bit like Britney Spears' Toxic song. It's got
right,
that
yes.
It's all a bit more intense strings rather than luscious strings. And we chose to do Parallel Lines, which is an album track. It's quite an epic album track from our past, but we chose to do that one because we wanted it to sound a little bit Led Zeppelin, Kashmir. So there's there's light and shade throughout the album in that respect. Because then obviously you've got your Better Days, which was always a bit of a string-led Shed 7 song anyway. But we've taken the drums out, we've taken the bass out, we've just made it piano, acoustic guitar, strings, and my voice. And it takes the song totally away from the original, but is still the original. So I'm hoping that the fans like the work we've put in, because we've done it for the fans. We've done it to stop the original compositions being released again for the sixth or seventh time,
Yes.
So we're hoping that people appreciate that and understand why we've done it.
And they certainly will appreciate it, because you know what it is? Honestly, I'm sure I had a song called Liquid Gold, but you obviously it must be a misprint on the little thing, which have the little preview that that's why I mentioned Liquid Gold. Isn't that strange?
No, that's weird. It's literally just the album title.
Very weird. I'll have to have a look at that again. I might have to go to Specsavers. Now, the orchestrations make a bigger sound. Now, did you ask for that? As in the 90s, I don't think anyone would have went for that kind of, big sound with an orchestra, because they would have maybe thought I was a bit old-fashioned.
No, but I think the older you get, the more you appreciate good sounds and sonics, So yes, maybe when we were kind of early 20s, we would have balked at that. But, as the older you get, the more you listen back to old music and just appreciate it for what it is. So you can go back and listen to whatever it is, the Beatles, Shirley Bassey, all of these acts that had lush strings on there, and appreciate it more when you're a bit older for what it is. So that's the kind of idea we had. We wanted to take songs that people know and love and spin them a little bit on their head without losing the essence of the original composition. And I'm hoping we've done that.
Because it's the sound of it with the orchestra and everything, and the strings and everything, absolutely fantastic. And I'll be looking forward to playing that on the radio and that banging out, blasting out the speakers, because it sounds so huge.
Lovely. Well, thank you, and play it as often as you possibly can. That'll be amazing. Thank you.
But yes, all your fans there, yes, get a hold of Liquid Gold, because, I've had to listen to it there and listen to Phil Wilson, because he knows his stuff.
He does. He knows his onions, that lad.
That's right. Now, do you have any, well, we've mentioned the tours. I was going to say, do you have any tours and forthcoming appearances you can tell us about?
Well, yes. So we've got a busy end of the year. So the album's out this weekend. So we are going to go up and down the country this week, visiting record stores, shaking people's hands who bought the album, because we all know that money's tight for everyone these days. So if somebody's chosen to buy our album, then we need to be there to say thank you and have our pictures taken, play a few songs in the record shops. Then we are doing a huge tour at the end of the year to celebrate 30 years. So that'll be more of a greatest hits kind of set, which should be brilliant. Then we'll go a bit quiet at the beginning of next year and give everyone a little bit of a rest from Shed 7, because it's been quite full on all year. And we understand. We're quite, we're quite canny at knowing that we might be pushing our luck, being everywhere all the time. So we'll go off and go out of the public eye. We might start writing some new songs while we're having a bit of downtime. And then festivals next summer, hopefully. So we'll be back next summer, getting up and down the country, playing a festival set. So that should be exciting.
I look forward to that as well. So at least you can put your feet up, and go, the 30 years is there. Let's go into the new year with the 31st year.
Well, I'm looking forward to speaking to you again in 30 years when we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. That's what I'm looking forward to.
That would be wonderful, that. Yes. I wonder if we'll be on Zoom still.
We'll be on Zim. We'll be on Zimmer, not Zoom.
We'll be zimming to the Zoom.
Right, Phil, that's amazing. Thank you. I better jump off because I've got another one to do in about 5 minutes.
Well, finally, please, could you introduce your latest single, Waiting for the Catch, featuring Izzy Ferry, taken from your new album, Liquid Gold?
I can. Hi, this is Rick Witter from Shed 7, and this is our brand new single, Waiting for the Catch, featuring Izzy Ferris.
Excellent, Rick. Thank you so much for joining me on the show, and we'll see you next year. And all the best with Liquid Gold.
Nice one, mate. Thank you.